High fives all around as the fall quarter just about comes to a close. We will slam Lee's highlights at you. We can't get enough of C Squared and his amazing talent. So run, don't walk, as we bring you the best. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And this is really just about the end.
Yeah, we will be wrapping up the fall season with a little bit of a review next week. There are a couple of exciting things still happening. Cardinal on their way to state coming up on Saturday. And, of course, the swimming and diving section tournament still a couple of weeks away. But everybody else is done after section losses for both football and volleyball last week. We start with the football team. They went into last week's 6A tournament knowing they were a long shot to get past the first round, but they also felt they were much better than their record showed. We've talked all year about how this 2-6 squad could have easily been 4-4 or even 6-2. Still, the challenge in front of them was huge. Lakeville North was 7-1, ranked second in the state, and their offense averaged over 250 yards per game. Clearly, they would be tough to stop. Cardinals came in feeling no pressure, but feeling they had something to prove. Wanted to put the pressure on the Panthers, and they do it well early. Getting the start they wanted. First play from scrimmage. Handoff to Jeremy Oddie, who got the start due to an illness to Danny Scheller. His longest carry of the game got the Cardinals into plus territory. And it leads to a score. Kaijon Cummings-Coleman, his first catch of the game, and he does what he does best, making people miss and getting to the paint. Cards missed a two-point conversion, but they had the lead 6-0. Defense makes it hold at least for a little while. Panthers' opening possession held the 4th and 5 from the Cardinal 38. Sawyer Wilkie is going to be stopped short. Turnover on downs. Panthers' second possession, they're threatening. Second and short, play action. Riley Grossman tries to go for the end zone, but Cummings-Coleman is there for another huge interception, his team leading 5th of the season. But eventually, the grinding rush attack of the Panthers pays off. Wilkie scores from the 14 midway through the second quarter. Lakeville North takes a 7-6 lead into the break. And once the train gets rolling, it's hard to stop. Wilkie dives in from the 1 in the third quarter. That stretches the lead to 14-6. Panthers' rushing attack is a two-headed monster, and it is relentless. Their two running backs combined for over 300 yards and 4 scores against the Cardinals. Sam Ripplinger held out of the end zone on that play, but he finishes on the next snap. Ripplinger's 3-yard score made it 21-6 early in the fourth. Their next possession, it's Ripplinger again. This time he's going untouched to the paint. The 18-yard score made it 28-6 with 6:24 left to play. The Cardinals not giving up. Jacob Maddock under pressure all night. He was sacked 6 times. He's able to air this one out. Lofton Ogroski makes a good adjustment for the catch. Unfortunately, his only one of the ball game. That leads to the Cardinals' final score of the season, and fittingly, it's Matting to Cummings-Coleman. C-Squared had 8 catches for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns, but the Cardinals fall 28-12. Cummings-Coleman finishes his career with 118 catches for 2,058 yards and 25 scores.
25, pretty impressive.
That's more than 20% of his catches going to the house.
It's amazing. It's for the Iowa State recruit going to Iowa State next year. They're certainly going to get a good player, and he is going to play defensive back. He
has been fantastic on the defensive side of the ball. I think it would be a sad waste of resources if he's not fielding or returning punts, kicks, and or maybe getting in on the offensive side, because he can do some pretty impressive things with the ball in his hand.
Well, as an incoming freshman, I'm sure they'll look at that, and they'll probably have packages in for him, possibly on the offense. But, this is a whole different level than high school ball.
100%, and we wish him all the best.
Yes.
And, yeah, I've been more than a little impressed
so much
by
fun.
his defensive skill
Gonna miss him.
This season. Lakeville North was expected to advance as the number 2 seed. This part of the bracket, not a whole lot of excitement. Everybody expected to advance did relatively handily. The Cardinals game, the closest game in this little subsection. Remember, that's just 1/4 of the whole tournament. There were some blowouts in other parts, a couple of upsets. But the Cardinals would have loved to have been on that upset train, just not able to get the offense rolling consistently. Had kind of that opening drive and the final drive, not a lot in between.
Yeah, obviously got a chance to watch it from home, unfortunately, but we weren't there. But, you know, the fact that the football season coming to an end is always a little emotional for me because I love it so much, just like you do with hockey. So we're going to move on, unfortunately, from football, and we got a few more things to do before you get your hockey fixed.
Yeah, well, it's right around the corner.
It is right around the corner. Well, the volleyball team went into last week's section quarterfinal knowing they would need a near miracle to upset top-seeded Anoka. The Tornadoes entered the postseason ranked just outside the state's top 10. They started 21-1 before dropping a couple of tournament matches in mid-October. That included a relatively easy sweep over the Cardinals. Cardinals looking to show their improvements in the playoffs. Anoka scored the first 8 points in set 1, but the Cardinals settled in after that. Good setup and finish for Tatum Shevchuk. Unfortunately, they're never able to erase the huge deficit. Anoka's Logan Brent powers this one to the floor. And as you're coming up here, the Tornadoes are going to cruise to a 25-14 win in the first. Better start for the visitors in the second. This time it's Nibel Jock getting the kill for the Cards, and they held a couple small leads early on. But Anoka just has too many weapons all over the floor. Defense gets the block, and when the Cardinals are able to recover, the Tornadoes set up Hayden Reeder on the left side. No chance to return that one. Anoka goes up 2-0 with another 25-14 win. Cardinals only managed 8 points in the third set when they played Anoka in early September. This time they at least get to double digits in all 3 sets. The end result is the same, however. Long volley, great effort by the Cardinals on this point, but it ends with an Anoka block in the middle. The Cardinals season ends in the quarterfinal sweep, 25-14 the final in all 3 sets.
Yeah, so as an overall, they improved, I think, by 1 point over their earlier matchup, 18-15 and 8 versus 14-14. But you know, this was a David versus Goliath, as you talked about on the show last week, and they were able to have spurts there where they played right with the Tornadoes. But Anoka, pretty powerful club. It's going to be tough to get them out of this bracket. There were a couple of upsets. Andover getting swept by Centennial in the opening round. Forest Lake, the number 2 seed, did advance with a 3-1 win. But Blaine also went up to Cambridge Isani and it got past the Blue Jackets in 5. So it will be Anoka, Blaine, and then Centennial at Forest Lake. Those are actually going on tonight. So section final a little bit later this week. Well, the cross-country season not quite over, as one Cardinal leader is on his way to next week's state championships. Cardinals would have loved to have had more than one qualifier, and they would have liked to have seen a better team finish. But realistically, both boys and girls teams turned in their best race of the season in the most important race of the season. Boys felt they had a good shot to make it to state as a team, and while that didn't pan out, they had some really great finishes across the board. Junior Lachlan Demmer has been the Cardinals' leader all season, and he stays with the section leaders all the way to the finish line. His time of 16:37.30 is 34th all-time in school history. He's 8th place overall, grabs 3rd individual spot for state. Kel Norquist is next to the line, taking 26th place. Owen James not far behind him, crossing in 29th with a time of 17:42.94. Nehemiah Koo is the only senior in the Cardinals' top 5. He takes 38th place in 18 minutes, 4.78 seconds. Sophomore Joshua Hyatt crosses in 18:21.85, finishing 47th. And the Cardinals are 6th place as a team. Girls team, as we've talked about all year, very young and inexperienced to start the season, but they have made tremendous progress this fall. This is across the board, boys and girls. 27 of the 31 Cardinals who ran at sections had either personal or all-time personal bests, season or all-time bests. And that is the proof of success this season. Freshman Ruby Demmer had a tremendous year, and she is just barely going to miss qualifying for state. Finishes 17th overall with a time of 17:57.47. And then we saw junior Lily McKenzie cross in 41st. Freshman Emmy Fuller and Hannah Burnt stayed together for the entire race. They cross in 47th and 48th. Sophomore Ella Legree just over 10 seconds behind them, taking 49th. Cardinals are 8th place as a team. So Lachlan Demmer
we wish him
on
luck.
his way to state tournament being held on Saturday at the Les Bolstad Golf Course over on the University of Minnesota's campus. And we definitely wish him all the best in that event. And I believe Lachlan is a junior, so he's got at least one more year to go. But a pretty impressive year for the Cardinals. We talk about it in individual, sometimes you can't see it if you look at just the rankings, the finishes, the scores. Right. But when you see 27 of 31, I don't know what percentage that is, but it's a lot. Minneapolis math.
Yeah, I have to take my shoes and socks off. I mean, nobody wants that.
90+ percentage. 27 of 31, only 4 that didn't have at least a season best. And a lot of personal bests.
That's great.
That shows the progress from start of the year to the finish and running your best at the most important time. So congratulations to all of the Cardinals, but especially Lachlan Demmer as he makes his way to the state tournament. Swimming and diving, as I mentioned, still working their way towards the section tournament, doing that super secret behind the scenes work to make sure they have their best times in the most important race of the season. Their section tournament is the 9th through the 11th at Northdale Middle School Pool. State tournament is the week following.
I didn't know it was super secret. So apparently it's out now, so we won't give any details about the super secrets, but
there are super secrets.
They're out.
But it's no secret that we've finished our time. We have overstayed our welcome in your living rooms. We will have hockey just around the corner. Our first look at the girls hockey team coming up on Thursday, November 9th. Travel to take on the Rogers Royals. Then we'll see them hosting Eden Prairie Eagles on Saturday the 11th. And then more girls hockey at Buffalo on Tuesday the 14th. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.